Bună dimineața și bun găsit la BU. Sunt Sabina Iosub și vă invit să rămâneți alături de mine în următoarea jumătate de oră. O să discutăm despre energie și măsurile pe care le pot lua statele europene, dar și cum se comportă, să spunem, România în toată această criză. Today, here with me in the European Parliament in Brussels is Nicolas Gonzales Casares. Thank you so much for your presence.
Thank you, Sabina. Thank you.
We discussed, I think, a year ago about the same subject, having the same difficulties in finding solutions at the European level for a huge crisis, the energy crisis. What is the situation right now, in your opinion, after 1 year?
After 1 year, I think we are in a worse situation than previously. I think in my country was the canary in the mine, alerting the other countries, the other member states that we will have this problem. And now it's even worse because the war in Ukraine. You know, the gas prices are skyrocketing prices. It's incredible, the prices right now, unaffordable for the people and affordable for the companies. So we have to search new solutions. And for example, in Spain, we searched for one solution that was decoupling the gas prices from the electricity prices. That is called the Iberian section. And it really worked. But now we need an European solution, not only local solutions. We need European solutions for these prices. And now it's time to do it. Because the situation is getting worse and we have the winter ahead and we should be prepared.
You in Spain decided also, the government decided to reduce the VAT for energy from 21 to 5%, if I remember well. That's the second time the Spain government decided to do that. Was it effective?
It was effective to contain the prices because, you know, the prices were higher and higher progressively. So it helped to contain the prices. Now, with the winter ahead, we have reduced the VAT for the gas. Previously, we reduced it for electricity. Now, with the winter, we have reduced it for the gas. So we took some measures, and these measures can contain. But of course, it's going to be very difficult to reduce and to give significant reduction of this with these skyrocketing prices of the gas. And for the other countries, it's very difficult while they cannot decoupling the gas prices for the electricity prices. We have a problem with the electricity market in Europe. We are aware of that, but the Commission lost 1 year deciding whether to do, cut this price or not to cut. They say a lot of things, but now we have the same problem as 1 year. And now it's time to reform the electricity market. First, with urgency, with measures in urgency, but of course, for the future, we should introduce new reforms in the electricity market.
You've mentioned some European measures that have to be taken before this winter to protect the European citizens. Let's give some examples. What type of reforms may be used?
For example, the Iberian section decoupling the electricity from the gas, it worked in Spain and maybe in some countries. But I think it's not a wide European solution because it increased the production, the use of natural gas. So I think we have to think in other solutions. The price cap of the inframarginalist technologies, for example, these technologies like wind, hydro, nuclear, that already have low prices, but we are paying as gas, we can cut a certain level and avoiding the, call it windfall profits, these new profits that some companies are earning because of this crisis. Now we are having a big problem, and this is the problem. Our money for our pockets is going to a reduced number of pockets that are the electricity companies and energy companies. So we should avoid that, introducing new taxes or cutting the profits of these companies.
And is it really possible to do this at the European level?
I think it's possible, but it's very hard. I think it's very difficult, and the ministers of energy will have to solve this week, at the end of this week, how to do it. We can put a threshold level for all European member states, or deciding in every member state which is the real threshold that they can afford. I think this is the real problem to introduce. But of course, We also have to reduce our consumption with saving measures. We also took some measures in Spain about the use of public buildings, the lighting in the night, but of course it had to be done with the conscience of the citizens and saying to the citizens that if we save this energy, we can pass the winter easier.
It's very hot right now in this studio because we are in the European Parliament and you are not using here in the European Parliament the air conditioning, right? That's the first measure. A first measure. Can it be replicated in the member states for real? Will the public institutions, let's say, take this kind of measure?
You know, if we did that in Spain, for sure it's going to be easier in other countries not to use the cooling. We set a threshold of 27 degrees for the use of cooling, not lower than 27 degrees. I think this in the right direction. But now we have other problem. The problem was cooling, but in the next months will be heating.
Right.
So we cannot say to the people, reduce heating to very low levels. But okay, there is a level of comfort that you can save also money. You don't need to have your heating system in your home at 25, 24, 23 degrees. Could be at 20, it would be great. In Romania, for sure, 20 degrees will be okay for every citizen.
Let's explain a little bit. It was an interesting crisis, this one in energy. Started before the war, was amplified by the war, and is it possible to see now the end of this energy crisis, or the light is still not there in the end of the tunnel?
This is a very difficult question. Maybe this question is more to Putin than for me. But it's true that they are using the energy as a weapon. And they are using this energy weapon before the invasion. They have reduced the supply to Europe in some pipelines. But now I cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel because we had the winter ahead. I prefer to wait for the winter to be in November or December to give you a certain answer because right now I cannot give this hope to the citizens.
What is the most difficult thing to do in this crisis?
I think that saying to the citizens that there are some problems that we can afford, but with the aim and the willingness of all of us. I think that we have to help these people to pay the bills and also the companies to pay the bills. This is very important, not to stop Europe because Putin won't. This is a real matter for me and for my group. And also we have to introduce some reforms. I referred previously to the reform of the electricity market, but we also have to introduce transparency in the way that the gas prices are conforming in Europe. For example, when it comes to the TTF, that is the gas market in Netherlands. We had to reform and to introduce a legal basis and more transparency on this market because now it's not working currently, not in the short term, not in the medium term, not in the long term.
Is it possible to see some of the member states, let's say, saying, I cannot go so far, I cannot take these type of measures that Spain, Romania or other countries are proposing for the next future?
I think it's very difficult for the people to understand that, but we had to make an effort. We as politicians and policymakers should do this, encourage the people to do that. But saying them that it's not only an energy crisis, we are also fighting for democracy. We are also fighting for the people in Ukraine that was invaded by Russian government, by Putin. So let's wait for this winter. Be strong this winter. And for sure, after this winter, we are going to face another stage. if we introduce more renewables in the system, if we introduce these reforms in the electricity markets, for sure we are going to be more strong, more resilient, and have more possibilities to go to the next winter with more advantage than we are doing now.
Thank you so much for explaining to us. Do you have a message for the Romanian public who's watching you?
My message is we should be strong as a democracy. Spain was a democracy from the 80s and the previous century. We have suffered the same things that Romanians suffered during these times. So I think now it's time to be strong against the Putin invasion of Ukraine. This is our willingness, and this is my message.
Thank you so much for this message and for your presence.
Thank you. Thank you too much.
We will focus now on Romania.